Jodi Thesing-Ritter, Women's Gender, Sexuality Studies 222, Women of the Civil Rights Movement. The course is designed with two primary purposes in place. One is to understand the historical engagement of women in the civil rights movement and understanding why their stories have been so left out of the retelling of the movement, and to be able to connect their stories from the past to social justice work that's happening today. So that's the first element. The second element is to understand the theory of social change and how students can engage using some of the mechanisms employed by women of the civil rights movement to make positive change today. So students study women, go on the civil rights pilgrimage to the historical sites of significance to the civil rights movement, learn from the firsthand accounts of the experience, and then while they're here in Eau Claire, they engage in a social change project using those elements of positive social change mechanisms. The lecture is once weekly for 15 weeks on campus, and then we have 10 days while we're traveling, and each of those days is spent in part hearing firsthand accounts from leaders of the civil rights movement. So the lecture plays a really important part of the experience. I think the thing that students would say is most valuable, though, is the firsthand account that they experience on the travel portion of the trip, which happens outside of the classroom. To understand the historical roots of oppression and the strategies necessary to make change and to eliminate oppression. I hope that students who haven't or don't experience oppression recognize their privilege and are able to learn how to use that privilege to make positive social change. And then I hope that all students will leave the course motivated to engage in positive social change using what they've learned from the sheroes of the movement that we study. It's an incredible learning experience. I love teaching it, learning from the students, and I go on the travel portion of the trip twice each year and learn something new every time I go.